Southeast Asia to the island city state of Singapore. Located at the southern tip of the Malay Peninsula, Singapore is made up of a main island and over 60 smaller islets. It's bordered by the Johor Strait to the north, separating it from Malaysia, and by the Singapore Strait to the south, not far from Indonesia. Just 137 kilometers north of the equator, Singapore experiences a tropical monsoon climate with warm temperatures and rainfall year-round. Despite its small size, Singapore is a global powerhouse, home to Southeast Asia's largest port and one of the busiest in the world. Its location on the Strait of Malacca makes it a vital maritime hub connecting to the Indian Ocean to the South China Sea. The city is known for its modern skyline, strict laws, lush green spaces, and multicultural blend of Chinese, Malay, Indian, and Western influences.
Before the skyscrapers, before the bustling ports, before the tech, there was a dream. A dream born from hardship, from unity, from struggle. This is the story of Singapore. In the 1960s through the 1970s, people were bathing with buckets, children in kampongs, shop houses. Not too long ago, Singapore was just a struggling fishing village, plagued by poverty, floods, and uncertainty. Few believed it could survive, let alone thrive. This story isn't just about Singapore, it's about possibility, from mud to miracle. May this inspire every young person in Kenya, in Asia, in Europe, in the world to dream again. In 1965, the world did not expect much from Singapore. Singapore was just a tiny dot. No natural resources, just a fishing village. A nation born in tears and uncertainty. But something extraordinary was about to happen. Singapore had no army, had no clean water. It had 75% unemployment. But what it had was a vision, a leader, and people willing to work as if their lives depended on it, because they did. From mudflats to metropolis, this is the untold story of Singapore's rise. There was a man called Lee Kuan Yew. He did not come to play. He wasn't just building a nation, he was building a belief that dignity would come from discipline and order from chaos.
We had to lock up people without trial, whether they are communists, whether they are language chauvinists or religious extremists. If you don't do that, the country would be in ruins today. Whoever governs Singapore must have that iron in him, or give it up. This is not a game of cards. This is your life and mine. I've spent a whole lifetime building this. And as long as I'm in charge, nobody's going to knock it down. That we wouldn't be here, we would not have made the economic progress if we had not intervened on very personal matters. Who your neighbor is, how you live, the noise you make, how you spit or where you spit, or what language you use. Had we not done that and done it effectively, we would not be here today.
From humble shores, a fishing village small, a tiny dot yet standing tall, where dreams took root and hopes grew strong. With hearts united, we marched along through trials.
And even from my sick bed, Even if you are going to lower me into the grave and I feel that something is going wrong, I'll get up.
And storm so wild, Lee Kuan Yew led every child, taught us courage.
Did you know that in Singapore, trash disappears without a trace, and recycled plastic bottles are used to make some of the world's best roads? Singapore is a country of the future where there is virtually no waste. Here, plastic bottles are transformed into excellent road materials. In Singapore, all waste is disposed of in just one day. Every day, over 2,000 trucks collect all the garbage and transport it to a bunker. Across the country, there are 4 waste incineration plants where waste is burned to generate electricity used in residential homes and other buildings nationwide. The toxic smoke is filtered out and becomes super clean. The ash remaining after burning is mixed with cement to produce bricks. As for plastics, a Singaporean company recycles them into a material that completely replaces traditional bitumen in road construction.
Wild, Lee Kuan Yew led every child, taught us courage, grit and pride, together as one side by side. Singapura, our shining star, from humble roots to who we are. 60 years we've come so far, a beacon bright, our guiding star. With 4 tongues spoken, we unite. In every heart, the lions fight. A passport strong, the world's delight. Singapura, our future.
I'd like to add one. You see, this is a moment of, every time we look back on this moment when we signed this agreement which severed Singapore from Malaysia, it will be a moment of anguish. I mean, for me, it is a moment of anguish because all my life you see, the whole of my adult life, I had believed in Malaysia, in merger and the unity of these 2 territories. As a people connected by geography, economics, and ties of kinship, would you mind if we stop for a while? They are out, but we will still do it. And I asked the Malays, don't worry. This was the government that believed in multiracialism and brought Singapore away from chauvinism into multiracialism. Pity, it turned out that we could not achieve multiracialism and integration in Malaysia. The most difficult of all to explain was when my own colleague, who built up all these beautiful houses, she is an architect, very able organizer,
Kauti Changwan, I've covered him in one of my chapters. He could have made a fortune outside just as an architect. But for some reason, he yielded to the temptation of taking $500,000 for adding an extra piece of land on a land sale so that the developer has a neat little completed plot. Then he did that for another one. And years later it popped up. And the investigations had to start. He wanted to see me to solve the problem. I said, if I see you, then I'll be a witness in court. So best not see me. Better see your lawyer. He committed suicide and left. He left a note and said, as an Oriental gentleman who believes in honor, I have to pay the supreme price. Died. And the family left because we had created by then, this was 85, 86, we had created in Singapore a climate of opinion which considers bribery, especially bribery graft in high places, as totally devastating to the society and the economy. But it's a heavy price, but it reminds every minister that there are no exceptions. In China, and to a lesser extent in India, we have such an enormous land mass with such massive populations and high quality that if they had joined the free trade world right from the beginning after the war, Hong Kong and Singapore may never have been economic miracles. Places like Hong Kong and Singapore, on the periphery of this huge landmass, became places of excellence because we arbitraged on their inefficiencies. We became their contact points with the outside world.
You were an attractive alternative to their
That's
inefficiencies.
right.
That protectionism and less trade means less growth for the developing countries. This also means that debt burdens cannot be discharged. Defaults may be inevitable, with incalculable consequences for the international banking system. Let me add and declare my position that 95% of US goods enter Singapore duty-free and quota-free. And for 14 out of the last 15 years, the US has enjoyed trade surpluses with Singapore, and we are not complaining. But for America to put up tariffs and barriers to Japanese goods, instead of tearing down Japanese barriers to American exports, will hurt the rest of Asia twice over. First, by having these same tariffs and barriers to overcome in America. Second, by not being able to sell to Japan because the Japanese will be selling less to America. The answer to job losses is more, not less trade. I cannot say I planned my life. That's why I feel life is a great adventure. Exciting, unpredictable, and at times exhilarating, and sometimes excruciating. To make life worthwhile, never lose that joie la vie, that zest for life. To watch the sun go down and wake up to a new day, rested and refreshed after a good night. At the end of the day, what I cherish most are human relationships. We caught an American CIA agent trying to subvert our intelligence special branch officer. Bribe him so that the special branch officer will feed the CIA, because the CIA wants to know what's happening. I mean, subverting a Singapore officer. The man might have succeeded, but I'm proud to say that the officer offered large sum of money and continuing sums of money. This was in 1960. Refused and reported the matter to his chief, who reported it to me. Man was caught locked up. When I told the American government, all right, we keep quiet, you take this man away, $100 million to the Singapore government for economic development. But through an intermediary, they offered me and my party $10 million. I mean, the insult, you know. I told them, keep it. The answer to job losses is more, not less trade. America can upgrade her declining low value added industries, or they will continue to decline whether America goes protectionist or not. Rapid and profound change is the kind of world Americans have created by their inventiveness. And American legislators now have the awesome responsibility of deciding under what rules the peoples of so many different countries should undergo rapid changes in their ways of making a living and yet avoid violent conflicts. It is inherent in America's position as the preeminent economic, political, and military power to have to settle and to uphold the rules for orderly change and progress. And Americans are still leaders in a marathon for technological change and product innovation. American enterprise is blazing the trail into the microchip and computerized world of tomorrow. It is in the interest of peace and security that America upholds the rules of international conduct, which rewards peaceful cooperative behavior and punishes transgressions of the peace. A replay of the depression of the 1930s, which led to World War II, would be ruinous for all. All major powers in the West share this responsibility for not repeating this mistake. But America's is the primary responsibility, for she is the anchor economy of the free market economies of the world. In your hands, therefore, lie the future of the world. Thank you.
This country belongs to all of us. We made this country from nothing, from mud flats. Here we make the model multiracial society. This is not a country that belongs to any single community. It belongs to all of us.
我们虽然小，可是也有我们的步伐。将来的新加坡跟过去的是一样的，是那样的自尊心、敢做敢为。When I set out my Singapore dream, I was a young man of 20 plus, working with the unions from 1952, was for a democratic society, keen, vibrant, a united people, who, regardless of race, language and religion, and those words mean very powerful forces at work. Their own belief is just three words: race, language and religion. They are deep emotional pulls that tugs you and makes you do things your common sense tells you you should not be doing. A society based on justice and equality, which will achieve happiness, prosperity and progress for the nation.
Does the Prime Minister foresee a decline in religious tolerance in the near future in Singapore?
I do not foresee, I have already seen. That is the secret of tolerance, that you have a generation in charge, like me, by and large secular in our approach, definitely in how to govern a country, and only too ready to concede the spiritual to personal beliefs, to whichever religion or religious group can convince you, provided the two are kept separate, that the religion contests your right to believe in certain values, but not to the extent that you push a government into implementing those values at the expense of other groups. Muslims tell me that's not possible. Islam is a total, all-embracing philosophy. The charismatic Christians tell me the same. And if this goes on, we're going to have unpleasantness. My simple position is, let's stop it before it's too late. It's all silly. However hard the Christians can try, they are not going to make Singapore a Christian society. It's just not possible. So I tell these Christian groups, let's have a sense of proportion. Let's live and let live. You're not going to change the world. Maybe you change a few individuals for a very brief period of time, maybe a few years. He gets excited and he's seen the light. But he's got to live. I think sensible, sensitive, but firm government will ride this patch. Soft government, trying to accommodate everybody, will lead to big mischief.
Given the right political attitudes and the aptitudes and the framework of a good, effective administration, all can thrive and prosper. We face facts. And this is one of the greatest strengths about Singapore, its willingness to face reality. The 9th of August, we used to celebrate the 3rd of June. Then it was the 16th of September when we promulgated Malaysia. Then it went back to the 31st of August because other people celebrated the 31st of August. Then it has to be the 9th of August. But the 9th of August it is. And this capacity to face up to situations, however intractable, however unpleasant, is one of the great qualities for survival. A people able to look facts squarely in the face, calculate the odds, weigh the chances, and then decide to go in, are a people not likely to go under.
I am calculating not in terms of the next election. That's no trouble. 68, no trouble. I am calculating in terms of the next generation, in terms of the next 100 years, in terms of eternity. And believe you me, the next 1,000 years, we will be here. I won't be here, but people like me and like my friends here tonight will be here. Recognizable, identifiable, 1,000 years from hence. And it is people who calculate and think in those terms that deserve to survive.
The dream of wealth attracts everyone, but it is those who innovate in creating new products and services who will be the new rich. Few are born entrepreneurs, and not many will succeed. To succeed as a successful entrepreneur, one has to have some extraordinary qualities: high energy levels, a cut of mind that sees opportunities where others see problems, and a keen sense of what product or service will be profitable.
I may speak the English language better than I speak my Chinese language, but I'll never be an Englishman in 1,000 generations. And I have not got the
Western value system. Inside is an Oriental Eastern value system. But I use Western concepts, Western words, because I understand it. But I also have a different system in my mind. But I say a person who gets deculturalized, and I nearly was, so I know this danger. He loses his self-confidence. You get a sense of deprivation. For optimum performance, a man must know himself, know the world.
I think India is under some constraints, not the result of the politicians, but the result of the nature of the constitution and the nature of the society. China is homogeneous, 90% Han. So when the president stands up and the TV is on, more than 90% understanding because the minorities are also learning Chinese. Any Indian leader speaking in any language at one time doesn't reach more than say 40%. You speak in Hindi, you might get the Hindi north. You speak in English, you get the upper classes throughout the country, maybe 30%. You speak in Tamil, you get 70 million in Tamil Nadu, and you speak in Malayalam, I don't know how many, 40 million. So that is an enormous diversity which makes it difficult to get the same policy through. And you can see that after each election you get a tussle of how to form governing coalitions.
Now you also have one of the highest rates of capital punishment.
Yes, that's for drugs.
That's for drugs.
Yeah,
because you think drugs deserve to be treated with the maximum punishment.
If we could kill them 100 times, we would. Because you destroy whole families. It's terrifying to see. Because you're then drug dependent, you steal, you cheat, you rob your own parents. I mean, it's soul destroying. And they come in knowing that death, if they are found with this goods on them, but the rewards are so great. And they try very, very unusual people. Women from Africa, big mammies come to sell clothes. And in between the clothes are kilos of heroin.
And if you bring heroin into Singapore,
you hang.
You hang.
You hang. Anything beyond 10 grams, you hang. Below 10 grams, maybe you
if
can
you
say,
are convicted of bringing in more than 10 grams of heroin,
you hang.
You hang.
That's right.
After a jury trial.
Yes, of course. No jury trial. Judge.
Judge.
Yeah.
Judge listens to the evidence presented.
Yes, of course.
And if he says you're guilty, you hang.
You hang. And they still come. Unbelievable.
Well, do you believe capital punishment is a deterrent or not?
Without capital punishment, our transshipment rate as a drug center would quadruple or quintuple.
Because you're right on the passage.
Yes, and our internal consumption would go up by a multiple of 10.
I'm not a one-man show. You see my picture everywhere. It makes it easier. You symbolize it in one man. But don't believe it's a one-man show. Cannot be done. In every department there is talent.
不要吃太多，够睡觉，够运动，工作也需要有兴趣。I hope you get your PhD and your boyfriend.
So wild, Lee Kuan Yew led every child.
Even if you are going to lower me into the grave and I feel that something is going wrong, I'll get up.
Courage, grit, and pride, together as one side by side. Singapura, a shining star from humble roots.
And it must be that way. But at the end of it all, why have all these countries gone down? They have taken power over from the British, the Dutch, the French, the Belgians, and look at the Congo. Look at Nigeria. 45 million people. They don't enjoy our standard of living. Vast natural resources. About 20 persons per square mile. Why? I've asked myself this often. Why? Because I must know the reason, otherwise I cannot fulfill my simple elementary function as a minister of the Singapore government. And I tell you there are many reasons. First, the will to be a nation. If a group of human beings do not want to together constitute a nation, nothing can make them other than superior force. That's what the Dutch and the British did with their empires, and the French. Whether you like the other chap or not, I say that you together constitute my colony, and you are all British subjects or French citizens or Dutch protected persons and so on. Now, each one of them have taken over. And a heterogeneous lot have taken over. And that variegated group must agree that they want to be a people from the rest in the region, preserving our tolerant, permissive society, our own way of life, and very high standards. But to do that, you must have the will, the capacity to express your desire in an effective way. In other words, you must have leadership. There's no use saying, the Nigerian people believe so and so. Which Nigerian people? East Nigeria, West Nigeria, Midwest Nigeria, North Nigeria? The Congolese Prime Minister or the Congolese President says so and so. Does he represent the 12 million people of the Congo? Nobody has taken a proper census yet. Nobody knows how many tribes there are. Well, assuming that he does represent the 12 million people of the Congo, is he in a position to express and implement their will? In other words, he having decided, he signs a decree number 1551, that all mercenaries of European origin shall be expelled from the Congo. Now you tell me who will implement that decree, that all the non-Congolese soldiers who have been brought there by so many people, the Belgians, Chombe, and the Katangis and so on, must get out of the Congo. Now who implements that? The United Nations is going to send chaps there to serve writs of summons. We serve writs of summons on our Barisan chaps. We say, here you are, Dr. So-and-so, please appear in court on Wednesday. And he doesn't appear in court, well, then we issue a warrant for his arrest. Then he appears. Then he is granted bail. Then the time comes for him to appear for trial. The boy has disappeared because he's committed several other offenses. So we say, right, you forfeit. Where is the father and the mother who stood bail? All right, pay $500. Now you tell me, assuming that I'm the president of the Ruritanian Republic, I say all foreigners will clear out. Then I say, right, UN Secretary General, please send 10 divisions to clear out all foreigners. You see, at the end of it all, one sunny day, all mortars will be falling down on the palace or the Istana here, just like they do in Saigon. You know how Nordindiam died? There's an ignominious ending. Mortars, shells, commandos, his own, chasing him. So he ran under the palace walls to escape. Caught, carried in a jeep, shot in a rice field, disposed of. Collapse. Now that's very sad, isn't it? You must have the will and the wherewithal. In other words, a well-oiled, well-maintained machine must be kept to allow the people at large to express their will as represented by certain groups of persons who in turn can exercise their mandate with efficacy. And when they say, yes, those boys will no longer be given bail because they've broken up court benches, disgraced the magistrate, humiliated the dignity of our courts. And the next time they do this, they are no longer given bail. And they stay in the lockup until their trial. Now, all this requires an elaborate machinery, of which each and every one of you tonight is an important wheel within that machine. Without you, my colleagues and I cannot govern. Because you, and in turn the people in every one of the villages in the 51 constituencies, every street understands that. Therefore, today we can meet.
Whoever governs Singapore must have that iron in him, or give it up. This is not a game of cards. This is your life and mine. I've spent a whole lifetime building this. And as long as I'm in charge, nobody's going to knock it down.
So wild, Lee Kuan Yew led every
They are cowards, that's what they are.
courage, grit and pride, together as one side by side.
This was a mud flat, swamp. Today, this is a modern city. 10 years from now, this will be a metropolis. Never fear. You know, some people think, oh, well, you know, we are a small place, they can put the screws on us. It's not so easy. We are a small place. In size, yes, geography. But in the quality of the men, the administration, the organization, the metal in the people, the fiber. Don't try. That's why we got booted out, you know. If they could have just squeezed us like an orange and squeezed the juice out, I think the juice would have been squeezed out of us. And all the goodness would have been sucked away. But it was a bit harder, wasn't it? It was more like the durian. You try and squeeze it, your hand gets hurt. And so they say, right, throw out the durian. But inside the durian, you know, some very useful ingredients, high protein. And we will progress.
A shining star from humble roots to who we are. 60 years we've come so far. A beacon bright, our guiding star. With 4 tongues spoken, we unite. In every heart, the lions fight. A passport strong, the world's delight. Singapura, our future's light. Our schools inspire the brightest minds, innovation of all kinds. Our port stands proud, a global gate, connecting worlds, we shape our fate. 1 million trees we proudly plant, green lungs breathing strong and grand. No place for corruption's blight, a nation clean, shining bright. Small but mighty on the map, a jewel that none can ever trap. Zero drugs, zero fear, our home, our pride, forever near. From every race and creed, we live as one and take the lead. Together strong, forever free. Singapura, our destiny is Singapura, our shining star. From humble roots to who we are. 60 years we've come so far. A beacon bright, our guiding star. With 4 tongues spoken, we unite. In every heart, the lions fight. A passport strong, the world's delight. Singapura, our future's light. We're Singapura, proud and free. From little fish to the mighty sea, hand in hand we build our dream. Together strong, one team, one team. Singapura, Singapura, our shining star. Melody idea for Singapura, our shining star. Something like a mix between Coldplay's Viva La Vida and a national anthem feel. Sing the steadily pattern. From humble shores of fishing village, snore, make it big, open and sing loud with full energy. This is the hook everyone will remember. Example, melody pattern. Singapura, our shining star. Ooh. 1 million trees we proudly plant, green lungs breathing strong and grand. No place
Marina Bay Link Mall.
Singapura, proud and free.
Welcome to Singapore, my lovely. Welcome to Singapore. Karibu, Singapore. Love you guys. Love you.
Welcome to Marina Bay, guys. This is Marina Bay.
From humble shores, a fishing village small, a tiny dot yet standing tall, where dreams took root and hopes grew strong, with hearts united.
Guys,
we
this
marched
lion
along.
is huge.
Trials, fierce
Where?
and storms
It's big.
so wild. Lee Kuan Yew led every child, taught us courage, grit and pride, together as one side by side. Singapura, our shining star, from humble roots to who we are. 60 years we've come so far, a beacon bright, our guiding star. With 4 tongues spoken, we unite. In every heart, the lions fight. A passport strong, the world's delight. Singapura, our future's light. Our schools inspire the brightest minds, innovation of all kinds. Our port stands proud, a global gate, connecting worlds, we shape our fate. 1 million trees we proudly plant, green lungs breathing strong and grand. No place for corruption's blight, a nation clean, shining bright. Small but mighty on the map, a jewel that none can ever trap. Zero drugs, zero fear, our home, our pride, forever near. From every race and creed, we live as one and take the lead. Together strong, forever free. Singapura, our destiny is Singapura, our shining star. From humble roots to who we are. 60 years we've come so far, a beacon bright, our guiding star. With 4 tongues spoken, we unite. In every heart, the lions fight. A passport strong, the world's delight. Singapura, our future's light. We're Singapura, proud and free. From little fish to the mighty sea, hand in hand we build our dream. Together strong, one team, one team. Singapura, Singapura, our shining star. Melody idea for Singapura, our shining star. Something like a mix between Coldplay's Viva La Vida and a national anthem feel. Singapore steadily pattern. From humble shores, a fishing village snore. Make it big, open and sing loud with full energy. This is the hook everyone will remember. Example, melody pattern. Singapura, our shining star. Slow down slightly, add emotional depth, then build back up to the final chorus. Kids simple, repetitive, catchy tune. Easy for kids to sing along with hand claps or simple percussion. Basic chord progression suggestion. Singapura, our shining star. From humble shores, a fishing village small, a tiny dot yet standing tall, where dreams took root and hopes grew strong. With hearts united, we marched along. Through trials, fierce and storms so wild, Lee Kuan Yew led every child, taught us courage, grit and pride, together as one side by side. Singapura, our shining star. trap. Zero drugs, zero fear, our home, our pride, forever near. From every race and creed, we live as one and take the lead. Together strong, forever free. Singapura, our destiny is Singapura, our shining star. From humble roots to who we are. 60 years we've come so far. A beacon bright, our guiding star. With four tongues spoken, we unite. In every heart, the lions fight. A passport strong, the world's delight. Singapura, our future's light. We're Singapura, proud and free. From little fish to the mighty sea.
Are you ready, Singapore? Yeah! Okay, let's go! Get out of the sea, onto your feet. Get your body moving like mine. Singapore, Singapore, look outside. Don't be shy, give it a try. Stretch your arms and legs in your spine. Singapore, Singapore, look outside. Granny and Grandpa, children too. Show you all what you gotta do. Go on, Dad, come on, Mom. Family business, so much fun. Give it a go, and what do you know? Soon you'll be feeling fine. Singapore, Singapore, what's outside? Give it a go, and what do you know? Soon you'll be feeling fine. Singapore, Singapore, what's outside? Welcome to the Great Singapore World Cup.
I rated them as follows. 1. Tony Tan. 2. Goh Chok Tong. 3. Ong Teng Cheong. 4. Lim Chee On. I didn't list Dana Baran because I do not think Singapore is ready for an Indian Prime Minister. And he's realistic enough to know that. No, but I wanted them to know my view so that they can decide on their views as they appraise one another. And I gave my reasons. I put Tony Tan number 1 because although Goh Chok Tong has got a faster mind, and he has a fast, quick brain, there's a decisive quality about him. He'd listen, take all points of view, and decide. After listening, you can't keep on listening. After listening, you sit down and you listen to your conscience, your judgment, and you say, right, we will do this. And if it's wrong, I will take the responsibility. I told Goh Chok Tong, look, you're trying to please too many people. Even the press, when they badger him, he keeps on obliging with answers. I said, just cut them off.
If you're not feared when you say something, people they won't take notice. But they know that when I say something, I mean it. And if you're going to cross swords with me, then you must be willing to get stabbed. That's that. If I think this is going to be, it's necessary to do, when you set out to thwart me, then we fight. So to avoid a fight, I make quite sure that you understand that I will fight. Simple as that. I am not interested in being loved. What's the profit in it?
I can tell you that when I met the SIA pilots, I didn't meet them on TV. I met them face to face. So 5 feet across the table so they can see me and see whether I'm still vigorous, able to campaign and take them on, whether it's worth taking me on. And I offered them two choices. Either you argue, you stop this intimidation, which is what it was, bringing SIA right down, disrupting services, ruining its reputation, millions of dollars worth of advertisements and sales ruined within a matter of 2 weeks. It will take many, many months to repair the damage. I gave them a choice. Continue this, and I will, by every means at my disposal, teach you and get the people of Singapore, help me teach you a lesson you won't forget. And I'm prepared to start all over again. Or stop it. Get back to work, restore discipline, then argue your case. And they decided, okay, it isn't worth the fight. Why? Because they know they'll lose. They know that I'm prepared to ground the airline. They know that I can get the airline going again without them. And let there be no mistakes about this. Whoever governs Singapore must have that iron in him, or give it up. This is not a game of cards. This is your life and mine. I've spent a whole lifetime building this. And as long as I'm in charge, nobody's going to knock it down.
However hard the Christians can try, they are not going to make Singapore a Christian society. It's just not possible. They have tried in China, it failed. There's something about ancient civilizations, both India and China. The Christians did not convert. They converted segments. You may say superstition, that Kuan Yin or Tapa Kung are all superstitions. You may say Ganesh with his blue face and multi arms is again superstition. But it's given succor, comfort, relief to successive generations for thousands of years. Who are you to say that your Bible is not superstition? They have converted whole island communities like Fiji. All the native Fijians have become Christians, but not the Indians in Fiji. So I tell these Christian groups, let's have a sense of proportion. Let's live and let live. You're not going to change the world. Maybe you change a few individuals for a very brief period of time, maybe a few years. He gets excited and he's seen the light. But he's got to live. And you look at the Europeans. They were the earliest Christian nations. They're not excited. Their churches are being deconsecrated and becoming bingo halls. So why do we need to be excited? But we are going through that phase, and I think sensible, sensitive, but firm government will ride this patch. Soft government, trying to accommodate everybody, will lead to big mischief.
So the fascinating thing about Lee Kuan Yew is he took 3 decisions, really 3 important decisions right at the beginning for Singapore. Each one of them now seems obvious. Each one at the time was deeply contested. Number 1, he said, everyone's going to speak English in Singapore. Now, there were lots of people who said to him at the time, no, we've been thrown out of Malaysia effectively. We're now a fledgling country, a city-state country. We need to have our own local language. We need to be true to our roots and everything. He said, no, English is the language of the world and we're all going to speak English. Today, that's what happens in Singapore. Secondly, he said, we're going to get the best intellectual capital and management capital from wherever it exists in the world, and we're going to bring it to Singapore. And again, people said, no, we should stand on our own 2 feet. Why? And you're also bringing in the British, who we've got all these disputes with. And he said, no, I'm going to bring in the best from wherever they are, and they're going to come to Singapore. Today, Singapore exports intellectual capital. Right? And the third thing he did was he said there's going to be no corruption. And one of the ways we're going to do that is we're going to make sure our political leaders are well paid, which the Singapore leaders are the best paid in the world by a factor of about 10 for the next person. And there's going to be zero tolerance of corruption, zero tolerance of corruption. And those are the 3 decisions that were instrumental in building Singapore today.
Fight
Remember this. Good ministers are not just those who kiss babies and smile and have dialogue sessions. You can have endless dialogue sessions, it's very good, you keep on listening and so on. It means at the end taking very tough, very unpleasant, very unpopular decisions and still smiling and still explaining. And finally, pointing out, see, we are turning the corner. The figures prove it. That's what government is about. You must be prepared to have bones broken and blood spilt. There are sometimes no way out. And you must never forget, you're not cheering a football team. So if the team loses, you go home. You are cheering yourselves. If your team loses, that's kaput for you. If we had lost, you would not be here today.
Lee Kuan Yew died 10 years ago and leave behind a great legacy. I think Mr. Lee, who was a big man, he is quite formidable, right? But you get near here and you speak with him, he's quite charming.
Mr. Lee spearheaded Tanjung Paghar's transformation, where others saw just a poor area. Mr. Lee saw it as an opportunity to improve and uplift the lives of the people who live here. When you walk through Tanjung Pagar today, you can see and feel Mr. Lee's legacy in every corner.
He built a Singapore in his vision where all of us are equal. Regardless of race, language, religion, regardless of where we come from. That while we may not share a common past, we can always share a common future.
It is with hope and optimism and knowing that the foundation that we laid is a strong foundation to take us forward to the future.
Indeed, Singapore started from humble beginnings, from tiny kampongs to one of the world's safest and most innovative nations. Indeed, this is Singapore, a place that was built on faith in ourselves, respect, unity, and the unbreakable lion spirit, which each and every Singaporean possesses. And as the founding father of Singapore, Lee Kuan Yew, said, may we celebrate another 100 years of harmony, progress, and pride. Happy 60th Singapura. Singapore forever. Let me know where you're watching from Africa, Europe, Asia, Caribbean islands. Where are you watching from? Drop a love, drop a like if you carry Singapore in your heart. From the little red dot to limitless hopes. Let's make this video the anthem for our next 100 years. Majula Singapura. Love you all. Mwah.
Our fishing village small, a tiny dot yet standing tall, where dreams took root and hopes grew strong, with hearts united.